Hello, everybody. I'm gonna wait for some of you to start to trickle in. It is my birthday today, so I wanted to have a little stream. I've never done a Q&A before, so I thought it would be fun to just kind of chill with you all. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm just like kind of checking my camera. I think the lighting's okay. It's a little dark maybe, but the evenness is good. It's the natural light, so I think I don't want to turn on this switch. I think I'm just gonna keep it like this. Unless it's really dark. Hang on. Well, that's not horrible, is it? No, I'll keep it like that. But hi you guys. I see a couple of you are trickling in here. I'm just gonna wait a couple more minutes. I have some general questions and like ones that are, oh, hi, Temple Moon, hi. I see you in the chat. Yes, I do have your question, Temple Moon, that I'm going to be answering here in a little bit. I was just saying that I'm going to do like some more short answer rapid fire questions first, and then I'm going to get into the specific longer answer questions after that. So yeah, how is everybody doing? How's your day today? It's 11:33 as I'm looking at my clock right now. I've been seeing a lot of threes lately and ones. So if you've been seeing angel numbers lately, maybe put that in the chat if you want to, if you've seen them. Oh, yay. I'm so happy. This energy is very renewed. Every year I make a playlist because while I was still going to school, my playlists of like these eras were like grouped by my schooling years. And so now that I'm out of school, I'm like, well, shoot, what do I do? If I was keeping track of time with my schooling this whole time, I'm like, well, I'll make them my ages instead. So my 26 playlist is because I'm 26 today. It's a leaf emoji, 26, and then a fairy emoji. All of my eras have like different colors and like emojis and just vibes associated with them. Last year was a sunrise and a phoenix. And then the year before that, it was like a wind chime and a butterfly. So that's probably very particular and specific maybe, but I love music. It's a big part of my life. Oh, thank you, Temple Moon, for saying that. Yeah. Yeah. New age, new era, new energies. And it's wild because it reminds me of the initiations and the energetic work I moved through like during that year when I look back at those playlists. I'm like, oh my gosh, this song was associated with this thing, or like for me this past year, this grouping of songs is related to like that relationship, or or when I moved across the country and I listened to these songs while I was driving, and it's just like it's very sentimental and symbolic to me. So okay, we've been in the stream for a couple of minutes here. I just looked up and it's 333. Hello, told you. I've been seeing threes and ones lately. I'm gonna get into the general questions. So I just said I'm 26. I'm 26 now. That was a question. Another question. My favorite color is purple. I remember for as long as I can remember, my favorite color has been purple. Favorite season is autumn. Oh, it's cool that you see numbers too, Temple Moon. Yeah, they're very significant. Whatever you see can highlight what it is you're going through and what your angels might be trying to give you advice on. Numerology is really cool. So, but yeah, anyway, I am a fall baby, so it makes sense that autumn's my favorite season. I just love the colors and I love the energy. My sun signs, Vedic is Scorpio, but sidereal is Libra. I resonate more with sidereal nowadays. And so the specific longer questions here, my friend Danny asked, what's your favorite practice for grounding your energy? There's a lot of ways that you can ground your energy, and a lot of ways that I love grounding my energy, but I think my favorite one is engaging with the earth element. I love working with the elements. I have a video on my channel called How to Be an Elemental. I've been connecting with the elements ever since I was a kid. So, what I like to do is right when I wake up in the morning, I go outside and I face the sun. And it's like golden and it's beautiful and it's just rising, it's the dawn, you know. Not only is it really good physically for your circadian rhythm, but it's also good for you energetically. I stand there, I kind of bask, I do a mountain pose, a little samasthiti too, a little bit yoga. And sometimes I'll stoop down and just put my fingers and hands in the grass. So nice. Very nice grounding practice. I also like taking walks. If my brain is really loud, going for a walk outside is very regulating for me. So that's my answer to that. And then Temple Moon, your question here is, what inspires you to create and how has that helped you spiritually? So I took a little bit of a break from YouTube a couple of weeks ago as I literally walked away from somebody in my life who was significant. And I was moving physically. And so there were a lot of like transitions happening. And so I had to reconnect with my heart and my life purpose. So I took a break from my channel for a little bit. I don't think I uploaded for a week and a half straight. And then sporadically, as I felt messages and things that I wanted to vocalize and say come through, I made little like random sporadic videos, like irregularly, and then I made a full comeback like a week ago, I think, or something like that, a week and a half. And so to answer your question, Temple Moon, what inspires me to create is like, it's very much a form of expression for me. And I think when we share our stories and connect in community, it helps everyone feel less alone and to be able to like just process and reflect. And like, it's so nice even when I receive comments under my videos being like, oh, hey, I experienced this too. Or even if it's like a very specific thing, and people are like, oh yeah, no, I feel that, or I also experienced that. It's just really affirming. And it's just nice to, like I said, come together in a society that runs off of dysregulation and disconnection and separation, to be able to actively go against that, to like share my story and to use my voice is very healing. But it's also a calling and passion purpose for me to help others with sharing those things as well. So it's like benefits everyone involved, basically. And so how has that helped me spiritually? It's just that. It's like I share for my own expression and creativity, but then there's that extra drive underneath that to help other people, to help illuminate maybe what they might be struggling with, and to be able to um help them work through it. So that's the answer to that. And I forgot to say at the beginning of this stream, if you guys have any questions additionally, um, please go ahead and put those in the chat if you have any questions at all. Oh, I'm going to read your little thingy here, Temple Moon. That's so powerful. I love that. Your videos have definitely helped me feel more connection. So I think what you're doing here is important. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I spent a lot of my, I'm trying to see how I can word this. I grew up very dysregulated and very silenced. So I am reclaiming a lot of my like divine feminine energy, and just divine energy in general. Reclamation, embodiment, remembrance has been like speaking. It's really healing and just really fun. I love connecting with people, and I love having us share and talk about our stories and significant like revelations and things like that. Um, Oh, me too. Yes. Thank you. And then, okay, Zen asked, where are you from? I was born in a suburb near Chicago, and I lived there for like my whole life pretty much. And then when I grew up and went to university, I went to community college first. I traveled out of state to a university nearby. It was like a couple hours drive in Iowa. Okay. And then from there, I moved completely south. So now I'm in the south, and I've always been a northern girly. So my body's still adjusting to the heat, but I just love the vibrancy here. It's different, um, and it's just very rejuvenating. So I do love how the four seasons are represented in the north. I actually visited home a couple weeks ago, a couple days ago. Um, and I got to like take pictures and like lay in the grass and see the leaves and go to the pumpkin patches and stuff with my loved ones. That was good because fall is my favorite season, and it's just not the same here in the south. So that was definitely very very fun. And so sorry, my hair is like distracting me. Um, you said I'm from the south as well, here in Alabama. Oh, cool! I've never been to Alabama. Um, I've been to a couple different places in the South and in the US in general. Alabama is one of those places that I would like to visit, though. If you have any recommendations, Zen, of like cool. I love the country. I love the energy and just like the Zen, honestly. Very, very different from the North. And just the way that people, I'm kind of rambling here, but the way that people are so nice in the South and care about other people. Like in the North, people kind of tend to just kind of put the tunnel vision on and just go about your day. And like sometimes people will wave and smile and say hi, but I feel like in the South it's different. Everybody's like saying hi to you, and everybody's being really nice and acknowledging you and stuff more than they do in the North, in my opinion. Um, da, 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 da. So no doubt, Southern hospitality is real. It's awesome. True. I know the whole vibe of like the Southern Belle. Like a ooh. Like I also noticed ever since moving to the South, I say sir and ma'am so much more than I ever did. And like I was raised with good manners. I've always said please and thank you, always. But coming to the South, like I say sir and ma'am so much. Um, Fall can be wonderful. We have our own version of it down here in the South. Haha. Depending on where you are, like parts of Florida, not really as much. But yes, I love autumn too. Yes. Hmm. So I do have a couple other questions here. What's the difference between Wicca and paganism? Very good question. So, fun fact to those of you who don't know, I used to be Christian. And when I was making that transition from Christianity into more ancient ways, I studied Wicca and identified as Wiccan for a while. And so, to me, with my studies and years of practice, most distinguishably, the differences between Wicca and paganism are as follows. So, with Wicca, when it comes to the belief system, like divinity structure, they align to the Lord and Lady, the god and goddess, the sun god and the moon goddess. In my opinion, above all else. So it's them two as like the divine mother and divine father representation, and then you have the deities and then the angels and kind of everything else underneath, sort of. Like on your altar, it's customary to have a silver candle to represent the moon goddess and a gold candle to represent the sun god at all times, like having that as like a staple of your altar. And so the next difference is the fact that they very, very firmly align to the threefold law. So they have a thing called the Wiccan Rede that I believe was established in the 70s and 80s. Correct me if I'm wrong, it was around that time. I think I haven't read the books in a long time, but the threefold law of like whatever you do comes back to you threefold. And so especially when it comes to doing maybe not so great stuff, like they're very kind of, in my opinion, against that, because the belief is that if you curse somebody or hex somebody, that it's going to bite you back like 3 times as hard. And so alternatively, in paganism, there isn't like a top tier sort of like this one energy is divine mother, and this one energy is divine father, people can choose to align to different pantheons, and every pantheon has different gods and goddesses that represent different things. And they can also sort of take different holidays and practices, of course, respecting whatever's a closed practice. Certain cultures, you have to be initiated, or you have to be actually a part of that heritage to practice those things. But just in general, I'm talking about Nordic, Celtic, Italian, those kinds of cultures, especially, are like very much like you can kind of choose whatever you want. And so then, with kind of in regards to that other thing that I mentioned, they're, I guess, more into the spectrum of morality and ethics in magic. Some people like to take karma into their own hands, delivering karma into their own hands, and some people don't. Personally, I'm one of those who doesn't like to, with my remembrance and with my embodiment, I just don't think it's necessary to be the deliverer of karma if somebody wrongs me or whatever. This is all a narrative. This is a temporary experience. The universe keeps receipts. Like, whatever we're meant to experience is gonna happen. So I don't want to put myself in that position of, kind of referencing back to the Wiccan thing here of like potentially receiving bad energy back if I put bad energy forward, even if they wronged me first. I don't know. It's like two wrongs don't make a right. You know what I mean? In my opinion. So I would say that pagans are, and also I forgot to say this, Wicca is very like modern kind of interpretation of key elements of ancient witchcraft, whereas paganism is very much the old ways and all of them like combined together, if that makes sense. So with that, kind of going back to the whole karma thing, it's a spectrum. It's, the dark magic and the light magic and everything in between. Some people identify as gray witches. And so it's kind of up to their discretion of like, oh, well, if somebody did this thing and it was really bad, like, I'm gonna, that, take that, ha. So, but other people, if they're more on the light side, are like, no, I'm gonna leave that for like the higher powers that be higher. We're all the same, but in these physical incarnate forms, we are like, in the 3D, which is significantly lower than the 13 plus D, which is the divine light realms, where angels and divinity is, and God and stuff, whatever you personally believe in. So that's my answer to that. And then another thing, do you remember any of your past lives? Yes, I do. But remember is kind of an interesting word choice. I would say we have amnesia going into each of our each physical incarnation, so that we can fully focus on the task and the mission at hand. If you're coming in with your human brain overwhelmed with all of your everything from potentially thousands of lifetimes worth of memories and events and trauma in your like conscious awareness, like that's a lot. Like that's a lot for us to handle, and it could be confusing to keep track of what is what and to sort of be in alignment and be here in the present moment. And so remember, kind of like, this term that this person used, remember, not necessarily because it's not conscious in this incarnate form, me as Olivia Jade here now, but I have done regressions and I have done meditations and I've channeled messages, written stuff down, and that is me remembering, if that makes sense. Because we're not born into these lives with those memories because it would be too overwhelming. So what we can do is have sessions, like I said, meditations, past life regressions, or do an Akashic record session with yourself or with somebody else to be able to access those memories. But when you do, it's very much observer consciousness. Sometimes you'll get emotions from it, and especially, I mean, if it was one of your past lives and it was really intense, that is like an indicator that it really happened to you. And that was really an experience that you had. A lot of times I've also found too that when we have a past life that comes into our awareness, it was divinely intended that way because that theme of whatever you did there is supposed to help and support you here now too, if that makes sense. So my theory is that the past lives that I have remembered so far and have regressed and like seen played out for me in sessions and stuff, my theory is that those presented themselves to me right at the perfect specific time to support me in my journey. You know what I mean? So you will slowly become more and more aware of more past lives as you move through this incarnate life, probably, and they will help you um, kind of highlight those themes and what you did in that moment to achieve that thing, and different mindsets, different vibrations. So that's that answer. Another question was, do I prefer tarot or oracle? Yes. I get this question a lot, actually. So, personally, I love oracle a lot more because every deck is unique. The people, like the illustrators, the authors of these decks, pour their own medicine into them. And so they're all unique. They all have different meanings and intentions. And I just think that as I'm pulling cards intuitively, like I did a Divine Feminine Oracle reading on my channel the other day. If you haven't checked it out and if it calls to you, definitely give it a watch. It was a really powerful reading. I want to do more videos like that in the future because I felt that as I was, pulling the cards, like not only are the images super beautiful, opening the book and reading it out loud, I would get downloads more frequently and like easier, I guess, than I would just reading the classic tarot, which tarot is powerful and great. But for me personally, it's just, I feel like the divine messages, the channeled concepts come through more when I do oracle because I guess it's more specific. Oh, James said happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you, James. In the chat. But yeah, so it's like oracle just comes with more energy, more specificity. It's just more colorful in my opinion. So I prefer oracle over tarot. And then another question, I have two more questions here, and then I'll be looking at the chat more. I've been glancing over a little bit, but if anybody has any questions, like feel free to put them in the chat. I'm just finishing up what I received ahead of time. If I could time travel, would I go to the future or the past? Very easy answer for me, the past, especially to pre-Christian times, because for me to be able to be immersed in this, because like I was talking about past lives earlier, I've had many, many, many experiences in pre-Christian times. But for me to be able to experience it as Olivia Jade now with my love of history, and like I was super hyper fixated on ancient Egypt as a kid specifically. So it'd just be really, really cool to, in this conscious awareness and this physical incarnate, to be able to go back and to live in those times consciously. Would be so cool because I'm glad that history has survived in the capacity that it has. But who knows? I mean, especially going to school and earning my degree, a lot of things get lost, especially, oral stuff like songs and words and language. If it's not written down, it's lost. And so for me to be able to go back and to actually live it and be there, inside things that history may have missed would be just really, really cool. So, final question here. What do I like to do for fun? I am an artist and I'm a musician. So, I love arts and crafts. I've been playing the flute for over 13 years. So, I like the flute. I like singing, most notably jazz. That's a genre that sits really nicely in my tone. If you guys are interested in singing videos ever, let me know. I am currently collaborating with a pagan artist right now as well, so I'm hoping that those tracks will be out soon. That's like a super exciting project I have going on. I love exploring new places. I love traveling, being in the culture, going to where the people are. Like here in the place that I live in the South, I've been, and let me know if you have delved into this too. Soul food and barbecue here are like, especially if you can find the super hyper authentic restaurants. I've been going to those lately to experience it, and it's a part of the culture. I just, whatever activities, whatever food is involved in the place that I'm visiting, I want to be there, I want to be in it and to really experience it because it's just so enriching. So I love that, love exploring. um I like fashion. My bachelor's degree is in apparel merchandising. And I'm an entrepreneur now, but I did learn a lot of skills earning my degree that helped me in my entrepreneurship now. It's just I'm not inside a career currently that is like so traditional, I guess, with this degree. But I do love fashion. I love styling. I love the cultural significance of fashion, especially where fashion and religion come together. Some of my favorite classes I took earning my degree were like um, the like anthropology-esque classes that talked about like the significance of like different design elements in clothing. Like that is so cool to me. So yeah, history, psychology, philosophy. I study world religions off to the side here. I have my bookshelf where I'm building my collection of religious texts. A goal of mine when I started my spiritual journey 7 years ago. I just celebrated my 7 year anniversary this summer of like devoted study, even though I've been spiritual my whole life. But like as my adult self, consciously researching, and getting involved in different communities, I've had the goal of gathering every religious text I possibly can. So, hey, little plug, if you guys have free books that you're giving out of your perspective, of your religion, of your practice, like please email me. And I would love to maybe, if you want to give me some, because I just, again, it's the whole like being with the people, culture, history. I love it. It's very enriching. So yeah, I think that's the answer to that question. There's some stuff in the chat. When I meditate now, I feel beings massaging my feet and it feels like energy is being transferred during. Yes, James, that's happened to me too. And with Reiki specifically, I'm a certified quantum healer, but with Reiki, it's a slightly different energy healing practice modality. Um, a lot of times energy is drawn out of the feet. It moves from the head and down. When you're making releases for people, you want to move it down the body and out through the feet because sometimes energy can pile up and get a little stiff and hard there. So it's actually really beautiful that you meditate and you actually experience your spirit guides kind of like literally massaging that energy out of that area. That's really, really good. Curious if you have ever heard of that in the spiritual communities you've been in, of the massaging. Yeah, so again, for the most part, like I said, Reiki is like you want to move the energy down, and if it gets stuck, you need to like release it further because basically you drain down energetically. But if there's no opening, like if there's stuck energy where your feet are, where stuff is supposed to come out, that's when it's nice to do Reiki on yourself or go to a session with a practitioner and they can literally move that out of you, um, basically. So yeah, I have heard spiritual communities talk about that, and I've experienced that with my own self too. People I've worked with, they've like moved the energy down and out that way. Thank you. It is so nice knowing it has happened to you as well. Yeah, yeah. So, oh my gosh, we've been on for a half hour already. um, if you guys have any other questions, let me know. I'm gonna be looking at the chat here. I'm gonna be getting my free stuff from local restaurants and stuff here in a little bit. So that's what I have going on the rest of my day. I have some exciting projects going. Been working on those before I officially launch. So look forward to that. I'm just gonna keep an eye on the chat here for a second. If any of you have any questions, it doesn't tell me when you're typing. It just pops up when it's sent. So I'm just gonna I'm just gonna wait. I have some video ideas. I always have video ideas. um, a lot of projects in the works. Um, Podcast, Etsy store, music collab, video ideas. Yeah. um, so regarding past lives, I have more awareness now after my YouTube. After my plant medicine experience, yes, I had to change it because I didn't want it to. Okay, plant medicine experience that they have in fact taken place, but much of it isn't especially clear for me. So yeah, but I do find it interesting. Yes, I'm so glad you had that experience, Temple Moon. We can definitely be opened up to, because basically the way that it's been described to me is when you're in a safe place, preferably with somebody else who has had experience with this particular modality. Plant medicine can remove the filters of reality that the ego places on us. And so, and there is like science behind, like, it was explained to me one time how like the spinal fluid will like flow down and then up, and it's like moving, and it's like, it activates those different parts of your brain so that you can like see clearer and like better. Like, I'm not explaining it in the best way, maybe, but there is science behind how different areas of our brains and our chemicals are lit up and activated by these plant medicine modalities. So we can definitely have a lot of revelations. It's not the end all be all. You can have revelations outside of that as well. It's just the fact that it is so clear and so potent by removing those filters. Because the filters can like keep us from it. Basically, the filters make egoic perception just a lot more like common, you know? It's just, and again, I'm trying to explain this in a good way, but with everything clear and the ego removed, fear removed, previous programming removed, you're closer to the source, basically, of your soul and of yourself. And that divine channel is open more than it might be normally, so that again, there's that clarity that can flow through. So so yes, okay, guys, I think we're approaching 33, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. I wish you a good rest of your birthday. I look forward to what you have in the works and cannot wait to hear you sing. Thank you, James. I appreciate that. I'm excited too. I literally, guys, I sent this uh artist my raw vocal files the other day because he's gonna like master them and edit it into the instrumental and everything. And they turned out good on my end. So I'm just like so excited. I'm like, wait, like I really want to hear what it's gonna turn out. So I'm just as excited as you to be like, ooh, wait, like I know how it sounded when it was like raw vocals, like how is it gonna sound when it's like done? So I'm super excited too. Thank you. Yes, okay, so I think that is it for this live stream. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the wishes and your questions. I have fun answering questions, especially with like spirituality. I've studied underneath a bunch of different, not underneath, but like with different groups and gurus. It's just, again, I keep using the word enriching because it is enriching. Like it's just so fulfilling for me. So if you have any questions at all, ever, you can put it in like my YouTube comments, or you can feel free to email me, or my one-on-one session books will be open again at some point. I've been trying to kind of recharge my battery and think about additional offerings to give you guys too. So if any of that interests you, feel free to reach out on any of my platforms, on my email. I think you explained it well. And yes, it was definitely more of transcendental type of experience for me. And thank you, Olivia. Have a wonderful birthday. Thank you with the heart. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. Okay, well, have a beautiful rest of your day, week, month, everybody. And I will see you again soon.